Well, today it's an absolute joy to introduce someone I've known for literally decades, who's been part of our church for 30 odd years, who's a friend, and who most of you will have seen because he's behind a set of drums most of the time on a Sunday. That's how most of you would know Frank Walsh. Just giving out a steady beat there for us to sing along with, to be part of. And just a really faithful part of the church at different levels, involved in so many different aspects of church life. And so it's an absolute delight to talk to you, Frank. I know that normally you're on the other side of the camera, so this doesn't feel that comfortable right now. But it is good to have you with us today. Do you want to just introduce yourself, tell people a little about yourself, what you do for a living, what you have done in the past for a living, and then just give them a sense of who you are.
Yeah, sure, no problem. My name is Frank Walsh. I've been in the church 28 years. It's 28 years, mate.
28 years. Wow.
28 years. Yeah, I'm self-employed. I run a little video company, using any kind of videos. In the past, I've been a sound engineer. I had my own recording studio back in down at Adelphi there on the Crescent. Around that for 10 years, and it was through you I went into video, believe it or not. I don't know if you remember.
I do remember.
Yeah. We went to Romania, I think it was.
Yeah.
Took a camera by mistake. Came back, edited it. Everybody was happy with it, and from there, I just went from sound, because it's strange, because the studio was closing down just as I became a Christian. No fault of mine, no fault of the studios. They were just pulling the building down, and we were moving the studio from one building to another. And I, like I said, became a Christian, and then went away with yourselves to Romania. Took the camera and then I think, because obviously I was unemployed at that point, and you said, well, what have you ever thought about going into video? I'm like, well, not really, no. And that's it all sprang from there, really. So yeah, thanks.
And in those days, it was like video was doing video. This would be,
VHS. I actually took it was a video 8, I think I took over there. When I brought it back, we transferred it onto VHS, and anybody that knows anything about video, VHS is not a good format. It never was a good format. It's a terrible format to edit on. But everybody seems to be quite happy with it. So, and funny enough, I was only thinking about this the other day. That was the time I actually got involved with Paul Lockett, because we got Paul down to do the voiceover.
Explain who Paul Lockett is.
Yeah, Paul Lockett is the newsreader from BBC now. He used to be at Key 103, but he was a pupil of Eric Hudson, who used to go to church, and his ex-husband. And it was through him, and I've sort of been working with Paul for years now. Well, 28 years now since. So over all sorts of different things, and yeah, right up to the beginning of lockdown, I was working with Paul, who was doing all sorts of different types of training. Yeah.
So it's around that sort of time, 28 years ago, that you became a Christian.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Ooh. My sister was a Christian before me, and she would, every time she visited my mum, she would talk to me about Christianity. Excuse me. And I didn't want to entertain it at all. And I remember even saying it a number of times to her, and it's fine for you, but it's not for me. She said, right, fair enough, no problem. And it got to the point where I remember distinctly that every time I used to live around the corner from my mum. So when I walked round and I saw Anne's car in the car park, I'd walk back again. I think I'll leave it today, because I don't want to be Bible bashed today. She caught onto it, and she used to park her car a few streets away. so a couple of times I'd walk in, she'd still be there. Anyway, so she was always obviously praying for me and talking to me about her own faith. But I remember coming home from work one day, and as I got in, Bev turned around to me and she said, your Anne's been on the phone. I was right, yeah. She said, yeah, she's invited us for a meal. Oh, actually, that's nice, isn't it? She said, yeah, it's up in Wigan. And then the penny dropped there. I went, oh, no, it's not anything to do with this what is it, MGB, and I can't remember what it was. It's FGB, MFI. She said, oh, yeah, that's it, yeah. Oh, it's Bible bashing, Bev. She said, oh, it's not, is it? She said, yeah. And then we talked about it and said, yeah, but it's a free meal, isn't it? We thought, right, what we got to lose? So anyway, we went along to this FGB and had the meal. Guy gets up speaking. He finishes, and then at the end of it, the two of us turned around to each other. He made sort of like an altar call. This guy can't even remember his name, is to be honest. He made an altar call. At the end of it, Bev turned around. So we didn't get up. We were too scared to do that. Way too scared for that. But at the end of it, Bev turned around. She said, "Did you want to get up?" I said, "Yeah, I did actually. I don't know why, but I did." She said, "I did as well." That was quite strange. Anyway, so during the conversation afterwards, we just mentioned this to Anna's sister, and she said, and she got a few people around us praying, and I thought, this is a bit intense, isn't it? You know, don't really want this. And it was at that point thinking, I'm glad I didn't get up now. So anyway, yeah. So they were praying for me, and I said to her, I distinctly remember the conversation. I said, "Look, I said, I don't know anything about what your faith is. I said, what I'll do is I'll read the Bible for a month. I'll give it a month, and if at the end of the month I'm still reading the Bible, fine." Thinking that'll pacify her and she'd go away, which she did. To be honest, she said, "Yeah, that's fine, okay." But I kept to my word, and I read the Bible for that month. And during that month, I used to read it late on at night, and I was in tears. Every night I was in tears, and I couldn't understand what was going on. I really couldn't understand it, because my background is that I came from as a Catholic, so I knew the stories, and I was reading in the New Testament. So, like I said, I knew all the stories from the New Testament, but they had a different meaning. There was something different about the stories. I'm thinking, and in fact, it was almost as if they were speaking to where I was at the time, right into my life, and that it just didn't make any sense. The fact that I was crying, the fact that it made so much sense, and the fact that I knew the stories, but they seemed almost different stories, and I couldn't get my head around that at all. So I made the commitment. I said, right, well, okay, it seemed something's going on here. I don't know what it is. I haven't got a clue what it is, but something strange is happening. So I think about a month or 2 months later, I started going to church to through my mum, and the amount of times I've heard this story from other people is untrue. And I think I was only speaking to some guys at Alpha, not either the last one or the one before, where I'm actually in church, and it was you actually again. You're preaching, and what you're saying is like straight at me, and I'm thinking to myself, how does he know this about me? I don't know. Maybe my mum's told him something. But you know, it says, and it's one of those where you know God is speaking through you to me, and it's like, wow, that becomes mind blowing then. And as you go further on down your walk, and you see other people saying the same thing, you're thinking, so that's how he got at me. Yeah. So yeah, and that was it then. I was as I say, I was convinced that there was something in it, and I've been going to church ever since. 28 years. Got to be something on it.
One of the things I've really appreciated about you is over the years, just your faithfulness to the church and to Christ. You've carried on walking with him, growing with him, and you've really been super committed to the church. You've seen it in all sorts of different phases as the church has developed. What's encouraged you most during those years, those 28 years?
I think I've touched on it already, actually, and this might sound a little bit sycophantic. I can't
Easy for you to say.
Easy, yeah. Break them in for the horses, they say. Yeah, it's you. Believe it or not, you. Yeah, you've had a massive influence on me. I think everybody in the church would agree that your sermons are, well, communication is a difficult thing. I mean, I've learned that myself because of the training I've done. To communicate to people is really difficult, and you make it look so easy, and I think everybody knows it's not easy. But it's not just the sermons. It's you as a person, I think, as well. Your honesty, your integrity. I mean, I really respect your guidance. I mean, there's so much. I respect your friendship, you know. But it's always amazed me that you've stayed with the church. It's sad to start this, but it amazes me, because I'm thinking to myself, this is a very intelligent guy. He's a doctor. Why does he stay with a little backwater church like we are? And that is a testament to you. It really is. It knocks my socks off really every time I think about it. I think, well, it just sums you up for who you are, you know, for your reason to stay. But yeah, so I mean, that's. I mean, the church itself is like there's so many good things about church, but certainly you are definitely one of the main things. Yeah, and there are lots of other things. I mean, church itself is. It just feels like a really earthy church, and people always turn around and say that we're a friendly church, and I think we are a friendly church. But I think there's an earthiness about the church which I like, and maybe that's a Salford thing. I don't know, but it's certainly I can certainly feel it in within church. The worship style, I really love the way we worship. It's easy. It's you know, I like it. I like the fact that we have a number of different bands. Just love. I love the style of the overall style of what we do. I think it's really good, and just love the people. The people are great. You know, we've got some really really fine people at Salford.
Well, thanks. I wasn't expecting that, and thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
A number of years ago, about 6 years ago, thereabouts, one of the things that we did in church was we began to reorganize the internal leadership of the church. And we created 2 bodies of people, a strategic ministry team who would help those on staff to actually get things done, and then a governing body that would be a group of people who would really carry the DNA of the church and support the staff and just be a group of wise people who we could bounce things around with, and you could care for, and we could be accountable to you. And you were part of that governing body then, and your period, along with Jill and Pearl's, just coming to an end now. After you did 2 terms for us, but all of you, and so you've done it around 6 years. And I think in the early days it wasn't always clear exactly how it would work because it was new and we were all discovering how we might work that. But what's it been like being part of the governing body?
Brilliant is the word. I've really enjoyed it. Been a real honour. That goes without saying, I think. It's been really good to feel as though I'm part of shaping the church. That's really been really important. One of the things you said there was that for the first, I think it was like 6-9 months, we didn't have a clue what we was doing. It was, even though we were getting guidance from yourselves, there was all sorts of new things coming along that we were saying, well, is this part of the GB? Should we be doing this? And it was like every meeting, the first 6-9 months, that was all we was talking about. It's like, well, do we get involved in this? So we didn't really, but it was good because we didn't, we was formulating, finding out what we should be doing, what shouldn't be doing. And then basically hopefully keeping us all on track. But I think the one thing that comes across to me with it all is that it was a real eye opener as to what goes on within church behind the scenes. The amount of work that goes on by yourself, Ian, Morag, and obviously Alex and Andrews that have come along since. The amount of work that goes in, and that's really. I mean, I've been always the one that turns around and says, he only does 2 hours on a Sunday, doesn't he? But I know for a full well, I know it's only a joke, but I know full well that you do a lot of work, but I didn't realise how much work you do, involved in so many different aspects of church, from accounts right through to, from youth work, right the way through, dealing with every aspect of church. And that's been an eye-opener. I mean, obviously, you just being a member of the church, you see you on a Sunday morning, you assume that you're involved in things, but you don't really know what those things are, because obviously church has to run. But it's when you've been privy to the conversations, you start to realise that, well, yeah, I know what they are now, and I know how difficult it can be, so it's not always easy to run a church. That's a certainty. But it's great joy as well, though, being able to be involved in people's lives, I suppose, really.
Yeah, and there will be a moment where we're able to thank you publicly as you transition. And you know, I do appreciate the support you gave during those years. It's been really helpful.
Can I just say one thing about I think one of the things that I'm really pleased about is that the caliber of people we're bringing in. I think we're so blessed in church now to have such really good quality people that I know that that when they take over later on in the year, excuse me, they're going to be brilliant. I know it. You know, it's just we're really blessed with the new folks that are coming in. Really, and it's exciting times for the future, without a shadow of a doubt.
So, how can we pray for you at this time?
Well, work. I think everybody would probably say that, though. Yeah, I mean, being self-employed, I was only looking at the invoices the other day, and I've not put an invoice out since February. So it's like, whoa, you know, yeah, just no work on at all. And I'm looking at the type of work I do, working with companies and schools. You think to yourself, I can't see any of those taking on any media work for the next 6 to maybe 9, maybe even 12 months. You know, so schools especially, I think, because it's probably the last thing they're going to want to get involved in is, you know, whatever it may be. I do a lot of live work with schools. They won't want to do that. So that's not going to happen. Yeah. So I think if you could pray for work for me. I know all the media guys involved in church are all going through the same thing, and they will be for a number of months' time. So it's going to be difficult times for us. I think also just, I mean, all the family, but especially for the son Kieran after his heart problem in January, operation. So he's very vulnerable to the pandemic as it stands at the moment. So yeah, pray that he stays safe. Yeah, because he is very vulnerable. Those two.
Definitely. Thanks for the chance just to chat with you and to hear your heart. I think that's what comes across, your sincerity and your heart. Thanks for all you've done. Thanks for walking alongside us all these years. Blessings on you in this next phase, which is tricky. But we pray that God will provide for you and that you'll be back behind that camera. Thanks ever so much, Frank. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Neil.